Hi guys, I think we can start the session. So I hope yesterday everyone was able to install everything and create their first Git repository and also use the four commands that we discussed yesterday, which was the add command, commit command, push command, and pull command. So I hope you have understood everything that we discussed yesterday. So I think we can move on to discussing today's topics. So, um, so I'll share the repo that I have created in the chat. So what I want you guys to do is uh, today we will be learning about forking. So what does forking mean? Basically, you can create a copy of a repository, any repository that is a public repository on GitHub. You can create a copy of that in your profile, in your GitHub profile. Okay, so I want you all to fork my repository, this repository here, by using this option. Okay, so you just have to go to the link that I just pasted in the chat and then click on fork. So what that will do is create a copy of that in your GitHub profile. So I want one of you to share your screen so that others can see how it is done. Can anyone volunteer to share their screen, please? It's very easy. There is nothing to complicated. Just you're creating a copy of this repository in your profile. Okay. So today we'll be discussing about forking, creating pull requests, and uh, how to resolve merge conflicts. These are some of the basic things that you need to know.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah,
Okay. This button, right?
yeah. So once you fork it, you can see that at the top it is written fork from whichever repo you forked. So if you go to your list of repositories, you can see this uh, forked repositories.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the same thing that we did yesterday, like you need to clone the repository, the one that you have formed. Okay. So, I can see 6 people have already forked the repository. So you have to go to the fork repository, then click on this and copy this link here and clone it. Okay, I'll put the clone command that we had discussed already yesterday. So this is the command. So go to your terminal and I want if you want it in the desktop, like if you want the fork repo to be in your desktop, then you just have to cd to the desktop and then put the git command, git space, clone space, whatever is the fork repo. Okay, and then press enter. Okay, I have already this repo in my, I've already cloned this yesterday, so I don't have to do that. But uh, the people who have forked this here, you go to your fork repository and clone it. Yeah. Okay. So now what I want you to do is the fork repo in the VS Code, and maybe everyone can add a text file. Just create a new file with your name, maybe, or your GitHub username or whatever. Just create a text file. Okay, and you can give your yeah, and then do the same thing that you did yesterday. Like first, you have to add all the changes, then commit the changes. So just write added txt file.
Oh, what's up?
Then push the changes. So I just made this change. So I want you all to do the same thing. And so in your fork version of the repo, you can see that you might have added a new file or something like that. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So let me know if you're done. Like give me a thumbs up or something in the chat so that I know you're able to follow. Do you have any questions? I think this is pretty clear. It's the same thing that we did yesterday. Because after this only I can tell you about pull requests. So that's why. So I want you to respond, like, to let me know that you were able to do this. Yeah, for that, you just have to write this command: code space dot. Go into the repository first. You have to cd into the repository, like you have to, and then do that. Okay, do the code space dot. Okay, so until until you guys respond, I cannot proceed with the rest of things. So that's why I want you to, like, let me know that you have forked the repo and made some changes there. Okay. 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 Can you share your screen, Akshajan? Okay. Just go to your yeah, copy. Okay. So here in the top, go to the top. Okay, so you can see this one, right? This branch is one commit ahead of and one commit behind my branch, right? So what that means is I now made a change in my repository, right? I added a new file. So that's why it's showing that. So this particular branch, this particular copy that he had forked from my repo is like one commit behind my repository. So now if you want to, like, ensure that we are on the same, like, level, that is, like, we are on the same commit level, what he has to do is he has to sync the form. Okay, so you can see this button here, sync form. So just click on that, update branch. So whenever you have form from a particular repository and the owner of the repository has made some changes in their branch, then you'll get this message every time, like your branch is behind the original branch. Okay, so during that time you'll have to sync the form. Okay, so now this is showing this branch is two commits ahead of my branch. Why is that? It is because now he has made a change in the repo, right? He has added his name in this. So that's why now his commit is ahead of my branch. So now what he has to do is create a pull request. Okay. So here you can see a contribute option, right? So click on that. Yeah. So you can see open pull request. Just click on that. So I'll explain what pull request is. So whenever you're working in a team for building a software or a project, okay, and let's say there are three people, and one of them is the team leader maybe, and they created the repository. Then the other two members will fork the repository from the team leader's main repository, and then they will work on. Maybe they are working on two different changes. Maybe one person is working on change A, and one person is working on change B, or let's say feature A, feature B. Okay, and once the person A is done with the creating the feature A and wants to, you know, submit their feature to the main repository, that is the team leaders repository. Okay, so they have created a copy of that repository and they were working on the copy in their own GitHub, right? But they now want to contribute their work to the main repository. So for that purpose is this pull request. Okay, so this is like you are telling the owner of the repository that I have made some changes. I want you to review this, please, and merge these changes into the main repository. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So here, once you are done with the change, I just showed you, like you just have to click on contribute option and then open a pull request. And here you can give a detailed description of what this pull request is about. So you can give a title, like whatever title you want. Maybe you can say added my name or something like that. Whatever title you want to give. Then some description if you want it, it's optional. But in a real scenario, you'll have to give some description about what change you have made. Okay. Then you can just create a pull request. Now the GitHub is checking if there is any merge conflicts. So let's see. Merge conflicts happens when someone changes, like when multiple people change the same file at the same time. Then usually the merge conflicts happen. But there should not be any merge conflict because we made changes in different files. So I think there shouldn't be, but let's see. There is some. Maybe just refresh it and see. Yeah, so there is no conflicts. So the changes that he had submitted to my main repository has no conflicts. So that means I can merge the changes that he had submitted without any issues. So now I'll share my screen. Thank you so much. Okay. So now this is my main this is the repo that you guys have for, right? So now in my side, I can see the pull requests that people have sent. Usually this main purpose of the pull request, I mean, not only in a like in a small project or small group, like bigger projects like open source projects, uses GitHub very, rigorously for so that the developers all around the world can contribute to the project. Like, let's say, like, if you wanted to add a new feature to, let's say, Telegram or something, you can go to their GitHub page, you can go through the code, you can uh, fork their repo, add a feature, and then create a pull request. Okay, so yeah, this is a big open source projects, but there will be smaller open source projects and all that, if you find something interesting that you like and you want to contribute your idea, your feature or something to the open source repository, then you can do the same things. You can create a fork, do your whatever feature or code that you want to do, and then create a pull request. Okay. Usually, these open source projects will have their own criteria for how to create a pull request. They will have a proper documentation that these are the steps that you need to follow. So you just have to do that. And also there will be like some bug or issues that you can solve. Like, it need not be like always some new feature. So there might be issues, open issues, that they will be posting in their GitHub. So if you're following their GitHub, you can see that these are the issues, and if you think you can solve them, you can solve them and create a pull request. Okay, so you can see here, right, issues. I can report the issue in my repository, but I can create a new issue if I want. uh, yeah, you just have to give some title, some description about what the issue is, and then just create, and then someone can solve that issue for you. Now let me go to the pull request section. Okay, so yeah, if I click on this pull request, I can see that there are no conflicts. So that means I don't need to worry about anything. I can just merge the pull request. So just merge it. From my end also, it's very easy. Just click on this merge. Now that is merged. Let's see. Merge this. There's no conflict, so I can merge. Okay, and this merge, I'll just merge. Okay, so now if I go to my repository, you can see all the changes that that I have just merged, right? So now in your fork, the people who have forked this repo, you can see that your branch will be behind my branch by now. I have made 3 commits, right? I have merged 3 things. So the each merge will be treated as 1 commit. So there are 3 merge that I did. So 3, uh, commits. So you will have to do the sync. Okay, so you'll be having that option there, as you saw earlier, like contribute and sync form. So first you have to sync the form. Okay, so every time you see that your branch is behind some of the someone's branch, then you have to sync the form. Okay, so I hope you guys understood what a pull request is and how to merge a pull request. Okay. Do you have any questions? Actually, I got some questions yesterday, so I'll probably discuss some of the questions that I got. autofill commands. You can just press tab. I mean, commands you cannot autofill. Like, for example, if you are some things you can use tab. Like, if you want to go into a particular directory, you can just press CD space. If you want to go to desktop, you can just press D and then press tab. Then it will show all the possible options. And another thing is you can use arrow keys, up and down arrows to, if you want to reuse the command that you already used before, you can just use the, up and down key commands. Up and down keys to just go through the list of commands. Okay. So, like, you can use this up and down arrow keys. It will show you all the previous commands that you just did. So you can use that. Or you can use, like, if you want to, let's say, CD into any of the, you know, if I use this, if I press G and I want to know the list of, files starting with G, it will show like this. So I just have to press tab and it will show all the, uh, folders that are starting with D. So arrow keys and tab. So okay, now I think I cannot think of anything right now, but if I remember anything, I'll share. Okay, I'll go through some of the questions that people have. So these are some questions that people have submitted. So let's go through that one. So in this, actually the questions 1, 5, and 6 are kind of like similar, like primary use of GitHub, then key features of GitHub, and you know how can developers make best use of all these kind of other similar questions. So I'll kind of answer it in the same way. Basically, as I told you, GitHub is a collaboration tool and a version control platform that helps developers to easily come together for any project and work together. Okay, so with the help of version control, we can track all the changes that have been made, and as I told you yesterday, like each change is like a save point for that particular software. So, like, just like in games, how we create save points, version control is also doing the same thing for code. It's creating save points. So that means if there are any issues or if you are getting stuck somewhere, you can always revert back to the last stable, version. Okay. Then collaboration, as I told, like we can work together on GitHub easily, and as I just showed you how people work. We can create a fork of the repo, then um, create a pull request. I mean, first, whatever feature you're working on, you work on your fork version and then create a pull request, and then the other person can merge the pull request. Okay. And I also told you about GitHub issues, right? So issues are also one of the ways like people can collaborate. So if someone is facing an issue, they can create a new issue, and it will be listed out in their GitHub repository page. So anyone who can solve the issue can work on that issue and then create a pull request for that. So yeah, then yeah, there are also something called as GitHub Actions. Okay, so GitHub Actions, it is kind of like a automation tool. Okay, so it will help in testing and deploying of a project. So you can always for example, every time someone is pushing into the repository, you want to make sure that uh, they are following certain rules. For example, like you can make sure that all the test cases are getting passed before they are pushing, right? So you can automate like that, or maybe something else like yeah. So you can add so many automation features with the help of GitHub Actions to ensure that every time we are creating new commits in a more efficient manner. And also, like in GitHub, you have seen that there are two options. You have a option to create a public repository as well as a private repository, right? So with that, you can easily, switch between, access. You can make it public if you want everyone to see your repository. You can make it private and add certain people that you want to uh, just the specific people that you want them to see the repository. Okay. So yeah. So that is some of the security features that GitHub has. Then how to make best use of GitHub, right? So like by creating uh, you know branches, whenever you are creating a new feature, you can create. I'll show you how to create a branch now. So whenever you're working on a new feature, it is always recommended to create a branch, because you don't want the main branch or the master branch to have any issues. Like you want the master branch to always be a stable version. So whenever you are solving any bug or issues, or you're creating a new feature, then always you will have to create a branch. So in big projects, you always create a branch and then start working on it. Okay. So yeah. Then another thing I told you about commit messages. Okay, it's always a good etiquette to write a proper commit message so that anyone who's following the uh, code or the repository will be able to understand what change you are trying to make in that commit. Same thing with pull request and the pull request description. And same thing I told you about readme.md, very important. Every time you're creating any project, any repository, you have to add a readme file so that other developers and other people who are coming across your repository can easily understand what your repository is about. And another thing is I told you about .gitignore files, right? So for that, that is like a very important feature that will allow you to, uh, ensure that the files that you don't want the Git version control system to track are included. For example, any sensitive data, passwords, or API keys, etc., you can provide in that gitignore file so that it will not be tracked by the version control. So, because what happens if it tracks? you are exposing yourself to the risk of any hacking or anything like that, because people can get your passwords or your maybe credit card number or whatever you're putting in your code, okay, like some sensitive data. Okay, so in order to avoid that, it's very important to use the .git profile in case you're using any, sensitive data. Yeah. So another thing I told you about syncing fork, right? So every time you have to ensure that your fork is in sync with the main repo, so that that it will not cause any merge conflict. So before you make any changes to a fork repo, you have to ensure that you are in sync. Okay. So these are some of the things that you have to ensure while using GitHub. Uh, so I discussed all these things. Expression, expression, and succession. Okay, next question. Maybe I'll discuss the next set of questions after discussing about how to create a branch. Okay, so uh, now we know about creating a pull request. So I'll do one thing. I'll tell you about how to create a branch. I hope you understood why creating a branch is important, because you don't want. It's always a good practice to create branches every time you're making a new feature or you're solving a bug or something, because this will make your project development much more efficient. You will not be there will not be any unwanted conflicts. You can People can work on their respective branches without causing any issues to each other. So yeah. Another thing is you can add collaborators to your repository. So in that case, you can always, like, the other person can directly push to the main repo. That is, they don't need to create a pull request. The pull request, why do we need to create a pull request? Whenever the owner of the repository is different from the person uh, pushing the changes, right? But if you have, like, if you are authenticated to push into one particular repo, then you can directly push. You don't need to create it. Okay. I'll show you how to add collaborators as well. That's easy. Just there's a setting that can help you add collaborators to that particular repository. So it's just like how you add, how you can add people in Google Docs and all. You can share particular people, right? You can make them editors, right? So similar to that, you can add certain people. Like you can add the GitHub username, and then those people have the access to push into that repository. So first command is git space branch. So what this command does is let you know which branch you're currently on. So you can see currently I'm on the main branch. Okay. And now I want to create a new branch. Git check out. Let's say feature. The branch feature. So what this does is it will create a branch feature, and now the version control system has switched on to the feature branch. You can see switched to a new branch feature. So now if I run the git branch command, you can see now currently in green, this one that is highlighted in green, right? That is the current branch. So yeah, so now currently I'm on the feature branch. So that is one command, git branch, git checkout space hyphen b space branch name, and then yeah. So one more way to create a new branch is you just can create like this, git branch, let's say path or something, or let's issue. So now you can see when I did this one, what it did is it switched on to the branch. But what this does is actually just create a branch. Doesn't switch into the branch, it only creates a branch. So if you press this git branch button, you can see you're still in the feature branch. But you can see in the list of branches, you can see a new branch that has been created, issue. So now I want to switch to the branch issue. So how can I do that? That command is git checkout git checkout space branch. So you can use git checkout to switch between different branches, and you can use git branch to check which branch you're currently in. So now if I do the git branch, you can see you're currently on the git issue branch. Okay. So yeah, this is how to create branches. So I just add all these commands in the chat, and I hope the organizers can add it into the WhatsApp group as well. You can give any name to your branch. So that's about creating a branch. So another thing is you have to know. Okay, I will show you. So now you can see if I go to my profile and click on this button, you cannot see any of the brands that I just created, right? Why? Because all these branches that I currently just created, yeah. So you can see the brands are not visible here. That means it's only in my local system. So what I want to do is we want to push these changes. That is the branches that I have created. I want to push that into the GitHub repository. Okay. So this is the command. Whenever you have created a new branch, then you'll have to set the upstream. So this is the command for them. You don't have to remember all these commands. You just have to give git push because the version control system will let you know which is the exact command that you have to, use. But anyway, I'll share this to the chat. So now you can see that actually push. You can see we all ran this. Okay, we all can see these two branches. So it only added the issue branch because we were on the issue branch right now, right? So now I want to add the feature branch that I just created. So I just have to check out the feature branch and do the same command, that is git push setup string. So that is git push setup string, then object, then name of the branch. So basically, it's like this. The new branch name. So now you can see, yeah, you can see these two panels. So that's how you create a branch. Now I'll show you what happens when you make a change in a different branch. So let's say I'll add a new file called, let's say, feature.html because I'm currently on the feature branch. Okay. If you want to check, it's always recommended, like whenever you are starting working on a project, it's always recommended to first check which branch you're currently on because you don't want to accidentally push anything to the main branch. Because always it's recommended to work on a particular feature branch. So you can see currently I'm on the feature branch. So now I added this file called feature.html. So, so and now the same three things that you have done before, the same thing you have to do. That is, first you have to add, then commit, add it. And then git push. These three things are the main thing how to push first. Add, commit, push. Add, commit, push. Okay, so I push the changes. So you can see feature had recent pushes. So now currently I'm on the main branch. And if I refresh, still you cannot see the feature.html, right? But if I switch to feature, you can see feature.html. So even the branch that you create can be like a one commit ahead or one commit behind, something like that. So here you can see this branch is one commit ahead of the main branch, but 9 commits behind the main branch. So it's always, first you need to, compare these two branches. That's it. So if you want, once you're done making the change to the, whatever feature, and you're saying, okay, this feature is complete. Now I want to merge this, feature to the main branch. Then you can use this. I'll show you once again. So here you have compare and post. So I'll do this. Here you can see the branch that you are trying to merge, and this is the branch onto which we are merging. Okay. So just create a request. even if you are owning the repository, like that means even if you had the push access to a repository, it's always a practice to create a pull request whenever you have made a branch, right? So here you can see there are no conflicts. Then after this, I'll show you by creating a merge conflict. So now it's showing your pull request has been successfully merged. And so once your pull request has been merged, there's no need for this feature branch anymore. Like that means you're done with the feature, right? You are done creating that feature. Now you don't want that branch, so you can just okay. So yeah, that's about creating branches and merging branches. Okay. So now you can see the main branch itself, you can see the feature. But if I click on this, you can see only two branches because we deleted the feature branch. So yeah. So let me now try to, create a merge conflict. So now I'll just check which branch I'm currently on. Okay, why this is showing feature? Because now what we did, we merged the branch. We made the feature branch changes to be merged onto the main branch. And we deleted the feature branch. But we did this change on GitHub. We have not, pulled these changes from the GitHub. So what we need to do is git pull. So, but before that, I just, switch on to the main branch. So let's check out. So, check out. Okay, and now I'll do git pull. Yeah, so you can see the feature HTML that we created have been added to the main branch. Okay, so now if I check it, it's still showing this, but if you check that out, cannot go into it. Okay, this is a local branch. This is not the remote branch. This is a local Git version control branch. So even now, if you make changes and push this, it will show Git, setup string because that branch is not there in the outset. Like if you want me to show, I'll just show. And if I'm if I do Git push, yeah. Now it is creating a new branch here. You can see, right? So now it again created the feature branch. So that's a new branch. Anyway, so let me try to create some, you know, I'll try to create some merge points. So I'll just check out through the show branch. And first of all, you can see one thing, you notice one thing that in this Git main branch, there are all these files, but in the issue branch. You can see only these three files. This is one another shortcut like git checkout hyphen. This will just switch between the previous branch that you just checked out. So if you are working on two branches simultaneously, you can easily use this git checkout hyphen to switch between two of the branches. Okay. Anyway, you can see that this uh, branch doesn't have all the changes in the uh, main branch. So how can we get those changes? So for that, there is something called Git release. So I'll show you what that is. Now you can see you are currently on which branch? Currently on issue branch. But you had seen that there were only three files, but now all the files that were in the main branch, now all those files got rebased onto the issue branch. So what does that do? I think it's easier to explain, like if I draw this or something, because let's show you. So this was our main branch. So imagine this is our main branch here. And uh, the commit that I made to create the main branch is here. This is the commit one, let's say. Then I added three files in this commit. Imagine three files in this commit. Then from here, I created an issue branch. Okay. So this is a issue branch. So this is our commit 2. So at main branch, we had three files. So this commit here, that means the issue branch will also be having three files. Okay. So then what happened is we added three more files. That is, at in total, we had six files in the, we created a new commit in the main branch with six files. Okay. Six files. This commit. Okay, this is commit 3. Commit 3. Commit 2. Okay. So now main branch has six files, but issue branch has got three files. That means main branch is ahead of issue branch. You can see, you can imagine this, commits as a scale kind of, or tree it's kind of like a tree-like structure. Okay. So the branch is here, issue branch, main branch is here. But main branch made a new commit with 6 files. But now issue branch is behind the main. So we need to bring this issue branch here. That is what the rebase command does. It will just pluck this issue branch from here, this commit to, okay. And what it will do is it will pluck it and paste it over here to the latest commit of the main branch. So now this issue branch will have 6 friends. So it will pluck it from the commit to and paste it in the commit thread. So that is what rebase command is doing. So I hope you guys understood what that is. Okay. So once you are done with rebase, that is, you did this command, git rebase, whichever branch you want to rebase that. That is currently the main branch is main, right? Sometimes the main branch will be called master or whatever. It depends upon people. Certain people follow certain conventions. Some people follow main. Some people follow master. So yeah. So once you do the rebase, that this rebase actually we have done only in our local system. We need to publish this rebase in the cloud, right? In the repository. Like you can see here. Second. I hope you can see my profile. So here, if I, refresh and go to the issue branch, you can still see it has 3 files. But in my, local, that is in my VS code, you can see there is 6 files. That means the updated, issue branch, right? There is like all these files and here only 3. So I need to push these changes to the GitHub. So for that, you need to use the force push. Because what will happen if I do git push? That's it. Okay, I think there is no merge conflicts, but if there were merge conflicts, usually you'll have to use a forced push. Okay. It's not recommended, but when you're using rebase, it's fine. You can use the forced push. Okay. So let's, because when there will be issues is because there will be, now we only have 3 small branches, but usually in a development scenario there will be multiple branches and so many sub branches and all, so it will be very messy in a way. So when you are doing rebase, there is bound to be some conflicts that might arise. So in that time you can use the git force push, that is git push space hyphen n. So yeah, that's, so we discussed about what rebasing and how to create branches. Okay, now back to merge conflicts. That was what we were going to discuss, right? So let's see. I made some changes in here in the readme file. Say merge conflicts. Okay. Now currently in which branch am I? In issue branch. So this change that I made is in the issue branch. So I'll just, add this change. Let's say updated. And let's pushing this. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out to the main branch. So here I will be adding something else. Let's say main something. So what you have to notice is like in both the branches, I made the change in the same file. Let's see if this will cause any issues. Same thing first, like we will try to add. So that's done. So now I'll just go to my Git. Okay. So now I want to compare. That means I want to merge the issue branch. So you can see can't automatically merge. Why? Because there are some issues. But you can still create a pull request. So I'll just create a pull request. Am I audible? Okay. So yeah, I just created a pull request for the issue branch. But you can see this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. So actually the merge conflicts you can easily resolve in the GitHub itself. Okay. So what you will have to do is now I've created this pull request, right? Uh, so I'll just pull from the GitHub and yeah. So you can see here this branch has conflict. So here itself you can see a resolve conflicts button. So you just have to click that. So here this is a simple web editor because this is just a README file. That's why you don't have any issues. But let's see. Command line instructions, because most of the time it will be a big code or something, right? So it's not as easily resolvable as the readme.md file, right? So I'll just do one thing. I'll just you know do the command line approach. So it's easy, right? All these instructions they have already given in this, you can see here, right? Merge with this view command line instructions, right? So we just have to use this. So clone the repository. We have already cloned this. We have pulled all the latest changes. So we'll just switch to the head of the pull request branch. So check out to the issue branch. Next step is what? Merge the base branch into the head branch. So I'll do this. So you can see on merge conflict, automatic merges failed. So in the VS Code itself, you have a merge editor. So easy to use. So you have this resolve in merge editor. You have this. So it will be asking you if you want the incoming change, and there is three options like accept current, accept combination, current first, accept incoming first, and things like that, right? So I'll just use accept combination. So here you can see this one, right? So now I can merge it. So I'll complete it. So whatever I have given in the issue branch and the main branch, right? Both changes have been added. So you can complete the merge. Now if you do this, you have to do the commit, right? So now we have made the change. That is, we have merged the two conflicting files, like the conflicting changes into one. And now, same as any change you make, you have to add the changes first and then commit. You can write it as merged conflicts. Okay. Then do the git push origin. This is push is in. That's it. Yes. Branch. Okay. Okay. So now it's merged successfully. So we can go here. Yeah. So you can see both the changes that we had made in the issue branch and the main branch have been merged into the main branch. So that's how you resolve a merge conflicts. Very easy. You just have to resolve in the editor. In the yes, I mean GitHub itself, they are giving you the step-by-step approach on how to resolve it. So yeah. Any questions till now? Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Like, let me know. Do you have any like doubts till now, like about creating a branch or merging a branch or merge conflict or basing or anything? Yeah. So forking is basically you're creating a copy of another repo. Like you may not be the owner of the repo, right? You are creating a copy of someone else's repo into your GitHub profile. So, for example, I'd say you in let's say Word document and all, you can create a copy, right? If someone else is owning the document, you still can create a copy. So that's the thing about forking. So you're just creating a copy of someone else's repo. But branching is you in the same repo, you are creating in the same repo, uh, inside the same repo itself, you are creating multiple branches. And in that particular branch, we are having like the same copy itself, same version itself at the starting. But then you can work on that particular branch with whatever feature or code that you want, and then it will be changing, right? Then this branch will be in your repo itself, all these branches. But the fork will not be in your repo. Fork will be in someone else's repo. So the forks that you guys have created from my repo, it will be in your profile. It will not be in my profile. But the branch I created will be in my GitHub repo itself, right? Okay. Actually, in the Word document itself, you can see. I don't know if it's in Google Docs. Like there is a version history option. Like you can see the updates that you have made in your document, and you can always revert back. So I think I'll show you how to revert back to a previous comment. So yeah, maybe that one, reverting back to a previous comment. Okay. So let's share my screen. So let's clear all this. Let's see. First thing, first we will, check the commit history. The first thing is you'll just do the commit history. So here you can see all the commits that have been made. Okay. So yeah, then let's see. And let's see which commit I want to revert back to. Let's see. Maybe before the merge. Okay. So this is the merge commit, right? So maybe before this. So I'll just copy this, you know, commit number or commit, yeah, commit number. Okay. And so once you committed it, what you want to do is git revert, then paste the hash, commit hash. Okay. So then, okay, much conflict in readme could not. Okay, yeah, okay, okay, okay. That is because of merge conflict. So I'll do one thing. I'll just, you know, skip this for now. Maybe I'll create a new, change. Maybe the word commit .txt or something. And I'll just add this. Commit added the word of the thing. Then git push. Let me check. Okay, I'll revert from the main branch itself. So first I will just, see the list of commits in the main branch. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So now I want to go before the merge conflicts. So I'll go to this, commit. So I'll just copy this and do the git revert this one. You want to will skip this comment because I don't want to merge this changes, right? So I'll just skip it. So now I have reverted back. I don't think I can. One second. Maybe I will go to this version. Git revert. Okay. Yeah. So I'm reverting back to the uh, this version, and that is like before the commit. So yeah. So whenever you're reverting, that itself is creating a new commit. Okay. So now I'll just push the changes. That is, I don't want the merged changes. Okay. So I have cancelled the merge, right? I've not accepted the merged changes. And now let's see in the repository what happens. Okay, so yeah. Now if I look at the commit history, you can see the revert. This one is also a new commit. When you're reverting back to a previous commit, that is creating a new commit. Okay. I know it's a bit confusing to understand maybe, but yeah. So now you can see it's not showing that merge conflicts. Like after I merged, the README file had merge conflicts, then main branch, right? But now it only has main branch. That is, we went a step behind. I mean, went to a version before the merge happened. Okay, so that is this. That's the current version now. That's how where we have reverted back. Back. Okay, so that's git revert. So yeah, you can play around with all these commands. I had shared a list of commands yesterday, so you can play around with that. So and try out different things. I mean, it's fine if you get stuck somewhere or some issues pop up. You can use ChatGPT to resolve most of the issues, and even after that, if you are facing issues, you can message me. But fairly play around with all the commands and try out different things, then only you'll be able to understand this better. So yeah, that's about git revert. Let me see if I can discuss a few more questions that some people have shared. Mm, okay, so we discussed the first, I mean, these three questions. Now I'll discuss about uh, the second question, and similar to the second question, the 10th question is also like kind of similar. How does GitHub contribution program management and yeah, limit of applicability of GitHub as project management? Yeah. So okay, so I told you about GitHub issues, right? GitHub issues, pull requests, GitHub actions, then uh, merging, creating branches, and all these things, right? So there are some other things that are present in GitHub, like there's a wiki page, which is for documenting, basically. So wiki page helps you create a documentation for your project, detailed documentation. Okay, everything like how to set up the project in your local system, and like how what are all the features that you have implemented, all the technical details in very explicit terms. You can give it in the wiki. And there's also discussions. Okay, so discussions in the wiki, you can people can comment on things, ask for clarification, suggest changes for the documentation and things like that. Similarly, in the pull request also, you can see under the pull request, there is a space for adding comments, right? So you can add comments, you can ask doubts, you can ask for clarifications, people can review your code and suggest you to change some things and all. So yeah, there are some other options that GitHub provides. Then GitHub projects are there. So GitHub project is a much more efficient and more organized way of creating a project. So you can have detailed step by step of what you're going to do, like in this time frame I'm going to build this feature, and by this time I'm going to fill this feature or something like that. Okay, so it's a more organized way of creating a project. So that's that. So yeah, then it's a very like fun tool for collaboration and software development, but I would say it's more suitable for an open source and personal project platform, because in bigger corporations and all, they will be using much more advanced tools, that is having an agile tools present in it, like Jira and all. Then Trello, something like that is there. So yeah, but still GitHub is a base for all of this. So it's a beginner friendly, as I said. It's beginner friendly, as well as people who are experts also will be using it. So that's about that. Then let's go to the question for third question. Okay, so third question is, in what ways can GitHub be devastating if misused in program development? Also, question 7 is also kind of similar. What are the potential risks of using GitHub for open source project? So, okay. Well, if you are if if you're misusing GitHub, that is some of the risks that it has. Okay. Well, one thing is, as I told you, like if you are not properly giving the git ignore file with the things that you don't want the Git version control to track, for example, your API keys, credentials, etc. Right? If you're accidentally pushing sensitive data onto GitHub, very easily hackers can use that, right? To hack into your system. So that's a very big security risk. So you have to always ensure that you're not pushing any sensitive data onto GitHub. Then also, we told like GitHub is a very collaborative friendly tool that helps you collaborate on open source projects, right? But the issue with the open source project is again the security issue, that anyone can push the code, right? Anyone can uh, create a pull request. Anyone can add a feature. That also has a down side, that is like if someone can create or write a malicious code, right? So that is also a risk. Then, but mostly in these open source communities, there's a rigorous like reviews, and there will be a set of people who are rigorously reviewing your code before merging it. But it may happen that someone can inject some malicious code. So yeah, then some code management issues. So, well, if merge conflicts are like not managed or handled properly, then it can cause some issues, right? Some features might be broken because of that. Then if you are not managing your commit history properly, constantly going forth and like that, and without a proper organized way of because and your code. Okay, then yeah, so that's some issues. Then some other things, as I told you, use .git ignore file if you want to store some unnecessary you want to store sensitive data. Then you should always, whenever you're using any password or API key, you should always give a variable name, like and store it as an environment variable. Okay, and not give the exact value in the code base. And reviewing pull requests is very, very, very important before merging, so that there are no vulnerabilities. So yeah, that's the you know some risks that uh, GitHub has, and it can be how it can be misused. So that's that. Now, going on to the fourth question. How does GitHub help developers collaborate on projects? Hmm. Okay, so and also this question 9, how to avoid GitHub conflicts. I think I already showed you how to merge conflicts and all, right? So yeah. Anyway, how GitHub helps developers. So I told you the same things like code reviews, pull requests, branches, forking, cloning, issues, discussion, etc. Right? Then avoiding conflicts is by merge conflicts. Merging the conflicts using the commands that GitHub itself is providing you how to merge it. Sometimes you can directly merge in the GitHub editor itself, or else you can use any code editor. And the easier one is using VS Code because it easily helps you in merging the documents. Okay, so this is done. This is done. This is done. Okay, this also done. How GitHub supports continuous integration and deployment in software development. Hmm. So I told you like there is something called GitHub Actions, right? So GitHub Actions will help you run automated tests. So this is like to check the code quality before you actually make a push. So for example, it will ensure that you are using, all the test cases are passing for your particular, um, code that you have newly written, and also it will ensure that there are no duplicated lines, or it will ensure that the, let's say, mm, there is no like uh, unwanted lines in the code. There are so many ways how you can check the code quality, right? So there are things that you can use. So usually this GitHub Actions, like you can use this uh, YAML file to run, create a GitHub action. Okay. So if the test is passing, then the code is automatically deployed to the production. So yeah, it's a bit more advanced techniques. So I don't know if you guys want me to go in detail to that. Anyway, this was a beginner friendly session, so I'm not going too much deeper into that. But if you want to read more about it, you can, go to GitHub Actions page, and there will be some documentation that you can go through and share it in the chat. WhatsApp if you want. So yeah. Then another thing, what is cherry pick? Git cherry pick. Okay, so cherry pick is a command that selectively applies a specific commit from one branch to another. So for example, I have two branches, let's say main branch and feature branch. And in feature branch, I've made three commits, but I want only the first commit from the feature branch to be merged into the main branch. Then we can use the cherry pick command. Okay, so maybe I can show you that, I guess. I will show you that. So that's it, right? Okay. So let's see. I'll go to the issues branch. Issue branch. And I've just made a commit, let's say. Let's say, or let's say I'll create a new branch for this. Check out the cherry pick. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll just make some changes. Let's say I'll add a txt. Sorry. So, okay, and I'll just add this. Add commit. Add it. Cherry. Okay. Okay. Now let me see if I can do something else. Maybe I will delete this file. Okay, and now I'll again add this, make a new commit. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't change the commit message. Sorry for that, but still. Now let me check the list of commits. How do we check it? Git space log space. I mean, you can just give git log, but this will, easily show you in like proper format. Yeah. So here I can see I have uh, added cherry pick, and this is I have deleted. Okay. So yeah, these are the two commits that I just did. But I want to cherry pick this commit in merging into the main branch. Let's see. Okay. Uh, let's see. I will switch to the Git main branch. Okay, so I'll check out the main. Check out main, and then Git cherry pick, and I'll paste this. Okay, so you can see this is added, but you can see this file is still there because I have only selectively chosen that commit that has created this cherry pick txt file. So now only that particular commit was merged into the main branch. Now let's say if I want to merge the second commit, that is the, you know, uh, deleting of that file. Okay, let's see. I paste this. Yeah, you can see it got deleted. So it's a very useful way, like to, selectively choose certain commits that you want to merge. So that's about it. Mm, okay, so now if you have any questions, like any other questions, let me know. You can explore various commands that have been shared in that cheat sheet. So and then we can try them out. No one has any questions? I hope whatever I discussed is clear and like you got some idea about the basic, features and commands in Git and GitHub. So yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, then we can close this session. Okay, thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you guys can try these out and uh, have a general idea about Git and GitHub.